Well, greetings once again, Ifiddle readers. I hope you've been enjoying my continuing series. For any of you who've been following the magazine now over the past few months, once again, here I am, Tom Morley, Irish fiddler, and the author of the book, Learn to Play Irish Trad Fiddle. I've been doing a continuing series here in the digital pages of Ifiddle Magazine on wonderful Irish traditional tunes for the beginning Irish fiddler. I hope you've been enjoying them. We've learned all kinds of dance tunes over the last few months, jigs and reels and slides and polkas, hornpipes as well. But today we're going to learn a beautiful melody. This is a completely different style and not a dance tune at all. One of the most beautiful kinds of tunes that come from Ireland over a many hundred-year period are usually called slow airs. They're often in 3/4 times, so sometimes they're also called slow waltzes, but you can have all kinds of tunes in a slow tempo and with beautiful melodies. The one that I've picked sounds like a timeless ancient melody. The name of the tune is Inisheer. Inisheer is one of the 3 Aran Islands off the west coast of Ireland. Beautiful, stark islands with no trees and hundreds and hundreds of miles of handmade fences that have been set up over many generations of time. In the year 2013, I visited Inisheer, and here's a few pictures from that lovely island. Now this tune, like I said, it sounds like a very old melody, but guess what? It isn't. All the other tunes that I've taught you over the months are what you might call traditional, public domain. Nobody knows who wrote them. They've been around, many of them, for hundreds of years. And even though Inisheer sounds like it's been around for hundreds of years and is often mistakenly thought that way, it is not. It's written by a contemporary composer, an accordion player named Thomas Walsh. He lives in Dunboyne, just outside of Dublin, and he wrote this tune back in the 1980s. It was soon afterwards recorded by the band Buttons and Bows and put on one of their early albums, and it kind of took the world by storm. I don't think there's anybody who plays Irish music at all that doesn't know the tune Inisheer. But it is mistakenly often thought of as an old tune that needs no extra permission to be used or when you record it. I found out the hard way about that many years ago when I recorded the first album with my band Mithril. We put it on that album, and I mistakenly thought that it wasn't particularly written by anybody, but then I found out later that it was. And as I made a contact with the composer, Thomas Walsh, it was one of the best things I ever did. I became friends with the man. He's a wonderful man who has a band in the Dublin area called Turlough, and you can look that up. They've got several albums out. And anyway, he and I became friends, and when I visited Ireland several times about 5 years ago, I got to meet him. Here's a picture of me and Tommy together playing in a pub in Dunboyne, and we kind of cemented our friendship that way. And in 2013, when I took my group that I teach here in Fairhope, the Irish Trad Explorers, I took this group of adults to Ireland to perform and play alongside famous Irish musicians. The very first night we met up with Thomas Walsh and played in a pub there outside of Dunboyne, and the very first tune we all played together was Inisheer, which all my students had learned. And I'll tell you, there was hardly a dry eye in the pub as we got to play this tune on our first night in Ireland, sitting alongside the man who composed it. So it was a very, very special night for us. And I'm excited to be able to teach you this famous, beautiful tune. Whenever you play it, please go ahead and tell your friends and your band members or whoever you're with that this beautiful tune was written by accordion player Thomas Walsh. Let's listen to the melody It's a very simple melody and has kind of the same repetitive setup of a dotted quarter note and then 3/8 notes. If you look at the music, the sheet music, once again, I've included it with the article here in Ifiddle Magazine. You'll see that it's kind of 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and it has that same kind of melodic, rhythmic figure. But the melody is so beautiful as it goes up and down that it really sets it up very nicely. It's in the key of G. So the first note is an open D. So that A section of the tune, you never use your second finger. It's a very easy way to remember how this melody goes. It has it uses those notes, and you never use your second finger at all. So you use opens, firsts, and thirds, and that will help you to memorize the tune quite quickly. Once again, let's learn that A section. Big jump there, open D to first finger B on your A string. Then go down to the D string with first, then straddle across. Do it again. Beautiful but simple melody. B section goes up, higher, to your open E string. So once again, that new melody, the first half of that new melody, you still don't use your second finger. We're finally going to use one, but you'll see that it has that same kind of sound. And finally, repeat it. There's the entire melody, simple but extremely effective. I'm going to play the entire piece now. You might notice that when you're playing a slow air, I add a little bit of vibrato, one of my violinists' bag of tricks. You can either add it or not. It certainly does warm up a slower melody. All the other melodies I've taught you so far over the months are faster melodies and don't demand any special tricks at all. But the vibrato is a nice effect here. And if you see me use it, well, this is the tune that seems to deserve it. So if you know how to play some vibrato on the long notes in this tune, you could add a little bit, and that would certainly be within the realm of helping make this song sound warmer and prettier. So here we go again. 1, 2. should be a very simple tune for you to learn by either music or by ear in this video lesson. I can't even play that tune anymore without thinking of sitting right next to Tommy in that pub in Dunboyne and playing it along with him. That's the kind of wonderful memories that fiddle players get, I think, whether you're playing Irish tunes, Scottish, old-time tunes. You can often visualize a tune that you know, where you've learned it, who you were sitting with, the situation, and that will always come back to you as kind of a special memory every time you play a tune. That tune also could lend itself well to any kind of embellishments. You could add extra notes, you could add grace notes, you could slide a little bit. You heard me slide a few of the long notes. There's a lot of ways to add interest to a slow air. But there's one of the prettiest tunes that I know, and I want to thank Thomas Walsh for giving me permission to teach this tune on this video lesson with Ifiddle Magazine. Stay tuned, and in the next issue I'll teach yet more Irish fiddle tunes in different styles, and I hope you're enjoying this. Feel free to contact me anytime at thefiddlecenter@gmail.com if you have any questions or comments about these Irish fiddle tunes. I love spreading these tunes around, and will always help any students who are interested in learning more about Irish fiddling. All right, see you next time. Thanks.